Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, we are one step closer to our taxes going up. Council approved a budget and a 20% tax increase in a special session on Sunday, in part because a ton of financial watchdogs have been saying we're not going to be able to keep the city running without this extra money. And those warnings aren't new. In fact, they are probably a big reason why Mayor Ed Gainey will leave office in just 2 weeks. Today, I am hanging out with Gainey and his wife downtown one last time to talk about how we got here, what they are most proud of, and whether leading up to this big weekend vote, he's had any regrets. It's Monday, December 22nd. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. I'm in the mayor's office with the man himself. Thank you for having us here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And Michelle Gainey, I am so glad to finally meet you. It's especially kind of you to fit this in.
Thank you for having me.
Ed Gainey, let's hit the highlights. And Michelle, I feel like you've lived and breathed so much of what Ed has experienced as mayor. So please speak up anytime you want to. But I want to start with the wins that y'all have experienced as the first family. What are you most proud of accomplishing here in Pittsburgh?
That's a good question. But I can't just select one.
You can give me a whole list.
Yeah, I think if I select one, it wouldn't be right. I think that when I think about it, $600 million for downtown was a major shot in the arm for the downtown community. 7 conversions coming out of that. When I think about the NFL draft, when I think about 18 low-income tax credit deals and 3 funding cycles, when I think about the first ever affordable housing bond, setting up the Bridge Asset Management Program, having the most diverse administration in the history of the city, changing the procurement modernization program so that more minorities, blacks, women, and Latinos are getting contracts. When I think about that, that's tremendous to me. The land bank, which didn't move one property until we came into office, owned PGH that put over 180 people, made them home ownerships, mainly minority women, households. So, affordable housing, delivered the most affordable housing in 3 years than any other mayor. Homicides down in the city. In 2024, young children between the age of 13 and 17, no homicides. Those are things that we accomplished in 3 years. That's a tremendous accomplishment.
What does it feel like to take stock of some of that stuff? Michelle, you're nodding through so much of it. I'm sure you have a different, maybe even bigger list. I mean, what does that feel like in this moment, so close to
So
the
I
end?
think being a woman and his wife and a mother, for me, it's different. I think the things that he also accomplished are the things that affect the next generation. I think that when you have been an example to young people, that to me is also a major accomplishment. I know that our children, young people in our city, people who are coming out of college, folks who are looking to make decisions about their career and where they want to live, the example that he and his administration have laid, the example that our family has put forth is a positive that breathes life into young people, and it now creates an opportunity for them to want to be able to choose to stay here. And I think that is equally important. So I think it's the example. I think it's the reach. I think it's allowing people to be seen, allowing people to be heard, allowing people to be respected. That is important also.
I feel like just symbolically too, like that's huge. You were the city's first Black family. And I think you've brought more people to the table that historically just felt like they did not have a place in the city of Pittsburgh, certainly not at the city county building. Do you think that those kinds of legacies will be durable, will last beyond your administration?
I can only look at the history of America, right? Like, when I think back and I think about the fact that for over 50 years or so, we have lost population. But in the last 2 years, we have gained population in the city.
It's so small, but it's there.
It's small, but it's there.
It's a plus column.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't want it to blow up. You want it to grow up. You want people to find a reason to want to live here and be here. And I think that, I always tell my team that they build pyramids one brick at a time. And so all you want to do is reverse the trend. If you can reverse the trend, then you provide hope. If you don't reverse the trend, then it's status quo. And you and I know status quo don't grow. So I think that when you talk about the symbolic of being the first black mayor in the city, I think that's a major part. But I also think that we were productive. And so in being productive, you change the imagination of young people to see a mayor that goes to their schools, the mayor that shows up in their community, a mayor that fights alongside of them, a mayor that had youth interns, paid youth interns, be able to go around with me and change their exposure to what they used to believe politics was without exposure, to having a better understanding of how government operates with exposure, to the youth civic leadership program that gave kids a stipend, paid got them 3 college credits, partnering with Partners to Work and CCAC, showing what collaborative leadership means and building power that way. To me, that shows kids that they can be what they want to be. And so will it continue? Yes, it'll continue. The one thing about American history that we know is true is that whenever African Americans have broke the glass ceiling, there's one, and then before you know, there's 2. Before you know, there's 3. No matter what industry you look at, when the glass ceiling was broken in American history, after that, you've always had minorities enter that room, where before they didn't enter the room. We created pathways from neighborhoods that never felt the love of city government, that they were always viewed but not seen. To change that landscape is powerful. To change that landscape is amazing, because now you provide hope in a city that is so segregated, dominated by racism and classism, that at the end of the day, you were able to cut through that. Now we'll be creating more division, but be creating more unity through love.
You've been in office as mayor for almost 4 years, but you also held state office for a long time. You've been able to make so many introductions in those roles. I hope that, the folks that you brought into the room with you are also able to continue some of these good works.
One thing is, my wife alluded to it, is that 40% of my staff is young people.
What does young mean
Young,
in the mayor's office?
Let's just say under 35.
Okay, I'll take
My
it.
deputy mayor's 38. He look like he might be 60, but he's 38. You know what I'm saying? But
Sorry, Jake.
we tease him about that all the time. But I say that because their growth ceiling is high. Listen, for all the young people that work for me, that had to go through all the storms I had to go through, that had to see how you handle adversity, and why my motto was make adversity your best friend, but stay away from controversy. For you to see and witness, that's a doctoral degree for yourself. You got to see how we dealt with all the issues that came our way, from bridges to being a mayor that had to lead coming out of a pandemic. They got to see things that in any other job they wouldn't have got a chance to see.
Michelle, what about you? I look around this building, this room, like one of your major tenets of, Ed's administration has been a focus on art, and bringing folks into the room, literally, physically, artworks into the room. Do you know if those paintings and that program that you established is going to be able to continue?
If the program continues, it would be different, because I formed a nonprofit out. It was never a part of the city. So ran the
But you opened the door. Like you made it possible.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I think it's asking Ed how he sees the future. I think that is bringing art into this space was also another way for young artists, younger and older, born and raised in the city, some who transplanted to this city, that never had an opportunity. One, they had never been on the 5th floor.
I bet a bunch of them had never stepped inside the city county building. It's not what you think of when you think of where to go see art.
Correct. So you have artists who had never been invited to exhibit art in this building, in this suite of offices, in that conference room, in this office. Those artists had an opportunity, because artists create artwork that tells a story. they are usually creating art that talks about lived experiences, what they hope to see, their family life, their cultural. And I think the blessing is it built community for artists who may not have known each other. It provided them with connection to opportunity that they may not have had, and not just here. We've had artists who've now been on exhibit at the county airport. They've been on exhibit at law firms, in the cultural district. And some of those opportunities came from connections inside that room and being able to exhibit at arts festivals. So I think that creating opportunity for people to see their differences and their likeness was important.
You just created like such cool atmospheres. Like they were often
Thank you.
themed, Black history, inviting students specifically or kids. There was a photography exhibit, I know at one point. You brought a lot of extra life into a building that can be a little stodgy on occasion.
Well, thank you. It was, the idea came, the young lady Fantasy Zellers who assisted with some of Ed's events. She thought it would be neat. It would be interesting to hang art and invite artists in. And that's where Pittsburgh Paint was born.
Yeah. So does it get to continue, the nonprofit?
The nonprofit will, yes. It
Yeah.
just won't be just in this building or in his office, his suite of offices.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's an exciting next chapter then. I mean, gotta ask, do y'all know what you're gonna do after the holidays?
Rest.
Yeah, I think for me, I need a rest.
Rest.
When's the last time you went on vacation? Like
We
turned
went
the
on
phone
vacation
off?
2 years ago. Turn the phone off.
You
we
can't
don't
turn the phone off
Yeah.
as
the
mayor.
quick automatic
we don't
turn phone off.
We don't turn the phone off. No.
I mean, you picked up
No.
your phone twice while you've been holding this microphone.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like,
I
you're
don't turn
committed.
off the phone. Like, I haven't had that opportunity. Problems don't take time off. When you run in the city, you have to be able to respond to the immediate emergencies and the urgencies of the moment. And so for me, it was always about that. Even as a state rep, even when I worked for other mayors, I was always on that road to whatever had to be done, let's get it done.
Well, I mean, there's certainly an element of service, but there's also a degree of ambition too. I mean, you've held executive office for a minute now. I gotta feel like you got something in that back pocket, even if you don't want to talk about it yet.
We'll see. We'll see what the future brings. But, right now I am going to take a moment off. There's a cost to greatness. There's a cost to working hard every day. And there are some things that I want to catch up on. I want to be able to be at home a little bit more than what I was in the past. Definitely be able to see, and my kids is growing up.
How old are they now?
15, 18, and 27.
I mean, are they, Michelle, I'm looking at you. Are they excited to have dad home a little more often?
I think they will be excited to be able to share a bit more space. What they're not going to like is the eyes and hands directly on a bit more than what they've gotten used to.
The city of Pittsburgh is a pretty big distraction. If one of your kids is up to something that maybe you don't love in the moment, they're going to have a lot of attention all of a sudden.
I think it's all, the transition to getting used to different things. Me being home a little bit more will give me a better opportunity to develop those relationships a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, let's talk about some of the storms that you alluded to, because, I mean, as you said, you've had to deal with a lot. Really, from the first days of your tenure as mayor, a whole bridge fell down. But I think it's important. You managed to build one and rebuild another. That's really unusual. Not a lot of mayors have been able to build whole bridges in the modern era.
Yeah, I mean, we had no choice.
Granted, but it still got done quickly, which granted, the president of the United States coming to town the day it falls down is a unique set of circumstances.
I mean, but think about that. So you think about a storm, the bridge collapsed, right? You get up early in the morning. A friend of mine texts me saying some cars went over the bridge. I'm like, what? I was already dealing with snow PTSD. So I'm thinking they hit a piece of ice. I'm trying to imagine. I never heard of a car going over a bridge. But when I got to work, when we made the call, they said the bridge collapsed. And I said, what that look like? I never heard of a bridge collapsing in the 55 years that I've been here. And then secondly was that the gas pipe was severed. So they had to get the gas off the whole nine. So that created a level of fear that I hadn't had before. But the beauty of that was the opportunity to build a new bridge in record time, to create the bridge asset management program, to start inspecting bridges, to make sure that the rest of our bridges that were in poor condition, we closed down so there would be no more bridges collapsing or falling. And
which made some people mad, but also, I mean, I got it from my perspective. If the bridge is not great, I'm perfectly happy for it not to go over it anymore.
Yeah. Well, it did make some people mad, but I had to make a decision of them being mad or them being safe. And the reality is I had to make sure that the city was safe. And so I was comfortable with the ones that was upset because I understand that it's an inconvenience, but it's an inconvenience of life for me. I never wanted to wake up again with another bridge collapse. That's a feeling that I wouldn't wish on nobody, because you don't know, we were blessed not to have no fatalities that day.
But people were hurt pretty badly.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's still litigation about it.
Yeah, there's still litigation on that. And I hope they're all of them get healed, but to not have no fatalities is something that's amazing when you seen the way the bridge collapsed. And so to me, the number one thing was we hadn't been inspecting our bridges. We hadn't done a good job. So to be able to build out the bridge asset management program,
which is a website online that we've talked about on the show before, but it is worth taking a glance through if you haven't before. Yeah. It's just full of interesting information, like when the bridge you travel every day was built, the last time it was inspected, maybe who did it. Like there's fun facts.
So not that I wanted that to happen, but out of that tragedy came structure. Out of that strategy came a system. Out of that strategy came us inspecting our bridges, where we didn't have to worry about that no more. And so, I'm fortunate that no one got hurt, but that was a day. I think what makes the story even more unique is that the president was on his way here and to talk about a bipartisan infrastructure bill. It just, the whole day was... You couldn't invent
a weirder set of circumstances.
Oh my goodness, it was crazy.
And again, you had just started as mayor. Yeah. I feel like there've been so many things. What about affordable housing? Because, you spent so much of this year and really last year too, talking about what was supposed to be your signature piece of legislation, a citywide inclusionary zoning plan. What is it like for you to step back now, see where council is, and know that that is almost definitely not going to happen the way you planned?
Yeah, it's something that I really wanted to happen because, for me, everybody deserves housing. I come from Section 8 public housing. I come from understanding what affordability is. I come from understanding when I talk to college kids that just graduated from college, why they don't live in the city and they live on the periphery of the city, because the rents are cheaper. I talk to young professionals just beginning their career and why, again, they live on the outside of the city and not in the city. We need affordable housing. We have gentrified our communities. It's not that I'm against market rate, but we shouldn't have market rate to a situation where we're struggling with affordability. We need affordable housing. I'll say it today, everybody knows we got a housing crisis. There's no way that somebody should be looking for housing. We should be providing housing. We should make sure that in every deal that's in this city that happens, affordability is attached to it. And matter of fact, we should not be selling out for big developers that just want to do market rate at the expense of those that need housing. There's no way that developers should be dominating Grand Street at all. It should be a situation when we're here to serve the people. We want to make sure that the people is good, where they have an opportunity to live and enjoy the amenities of our city. And so for me, it was real clear. Council could vote it up and down, but I wanted to send a message to the city how I felt about housing. Everybody deserves a right to fair, quality housing, affordability. There's nothing wrong with that. And about, we should have it in some neighborhoods, and some neighborhoods we shouldn't have it in. No, we should have it in every neighborhood. Why would we want it in some neighborhoods and some neighborhoods we don't want it in? What are we talking about, housing segregation? That's what you just said to me. If you build all poverty-stricken housing in one neighborhood, then you're going to have some crime. You're going to have some situation that poverty births. But if we did it the right way, if we created situations where we had affordability across the city, we would be building more than housing. We would be building humanity. And I don't see nothing wrong with that.
What do you think of what is on the table now? This kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that strategy where affordable housing is not gone, but it's certainly not citywide, and now it's incentivized. It's not inclusionary zoning in the strictest sense.
No, to be honest, it's a system that when you look at it, it mirrors what we've been doing all along. So there's not no real change to that.
Do you think it'll work?
It could work. I mean, do you think that it'll create the level of what we need to really cut into the housing problem that we have? No, you have to be intentional. It's not going to happen just because we're allowing people to pick where they want to put affordability at. Like that's what we're doing now. I've been in this city my whole life, and guess what? I can tell you from the beginning, it's always been segregated. That's just the truth. We got to break through that. And we can't break through that by using the same gimmicks we used for decades and decades and decades. Listen, we've had renaissance after renaissance after renaissance, and we have labeled them successes. We have said that they have done a great job, and I'll be the first one to say, yes, they have been successful. But in renaissance, as you would see, if it was growth in renaissance, you would see population growth. And every renaissance we've had, we still had population loss. And if our money is based on taxes, and the number one is property tax, then at the end of the day, we should be doing what's necessary to ensure that whatever renaissance we have, that we have population growth. We have not had it until 2 years ago. And like you said, they small numbers, but give me the small numbers of growth instead of the small numbers of decline, because we've had that for decades and decades. So I'll take that. Because at least someone can see that this city is so lovable that you want to live here. So why shouldn't it be affordable?
Fair enough. I mean, when you look at that, like those population numbers, and especially, property taxes, what do you feel like the mayor's office did during your tenure to bring us in line with that? Because the school district is upset and city council is upset, and there's been so much discussion of the budget, and I've heard you and County Executive Sarah Innamorato say we will need property taxes to be fixed, but you personally never called to fix it, to trigger it, a tax increase or a reassessment. Why? Because
one, I think that it's really a situation where the state got to step in. There's no question about it. I've been at the state level. The two issues that you're discussing right there are truly issues that the state got to fix.
I get it.
And I've been saying that for a long time before I even became mayor.
Did you ever advocate for the state to step in when you worked for the state?
Yeah, I've talked about it back then, that it has to be done differently. Now, to what degree or what that looks like, I'm not sure.
It is politically unpopular. I totally understand why you and Ms. Innamorato would not necessarily want to trigger a change in taxes. People
well, not only is it
that.
political, let me be honest, it's not equal, right? The way one county do it compared to another county and how this county do it, there's no, it's chaotic.
And is that the difference, that you want everyone figured out at the same time?
Or there should be a timetable when everybody should do it.
Oh, I agree with you. So I wish the state of Pennsylvania did this at all, and that's the problem, they don't.
Right, but so until that occurs, you leave it chaotic. You leave it up to say, okay, elected official, you go ahead and say you're going to do it. And it hasn't been done in 10, 15 years. Now all of a sudden you want me to do it. So if you want to fix something, change the system.
Talk about your budget.
Love it.
Do you?
Well, I mean, because we were honest, right? We were honest.
I feel like that's the criticism, though. Don't get mad at me, but like a lot of people have said the exact word, that it's perhaps a dishonest budget.
Right, ain't that deep? Because for the last 2 years, and you know it because I've been on your show and talked about it, that we said in 25 and 26 that we were going to have it's going to be a skinny year. It's going to be tough. The ARPA money ran out, the debt that was refinanced, and they did the right thing back then. We had 2 payments that we had to pay in 25 and 26, but we would have a balanced budget. Now, based on what's out there, we presented what we said we would present.
Critics say it's $30 million short.
But it's
like as we're recording, the council has issued a will of council, which they don't do all that often. They don't agree with each other in public all that often. And they agree that perhaps this budget does not work. The time is running out. What do you say to that?
Yeah, but listen, we presented a balanced budget.
Is it balanced? That's what you maintain.
It's balanced. Not only that, for the last 3 years, they voted for my budget. They knew what it was.
They're not currently voting for your budget this year.
I'm getting to it this year.
Okay.
But I just want to make sure that we set the background that they have in years past voted for it. We've told council that we wasn't raising taxes, that we was going to live inside our means, that we would send them over. Now, if they want to send something over that talks about, cutting core city services, raising taxes, or layoffs from the workforce, send me something over to look at. We'll look at it. We'll take a look, but if not, then take the budget as it is.
It seems to me, and forgive me if I've got this wrong, that what they're asking your office to do is recraft something and send it back to them. You're saying you want them to write it and send it to you?
No. What I want to, if they have ideas and suggestions that talks about the budget in the way that pivots from where we're at, I'm willing to listen to it.
Do you have any regrets for anything maybe that had been on your wish list or you were really excited about when you took office that you maybe weren't able to get accomplished?
I'm not going to say I have regrets. What I will say to you is that I've had some things that I wanted to get done that we just ran out of time. Like, I believe that the nonprofits should pay their fair share. And I believe that we've created the level of conversation that even if it happens in the next administration, it's only because of the pressure this administration brought. That's one. Two is I wanted inclusionary zoning. I wanted that. I wanted to create housing for everybody in the city. But do I regret them? No, because at the end of the day, we made it a topic of discussion like never before. We made people have to talk about things they didn't want to talk about. The difference between my administration and others, whatever issue we had to take on, we didn't have the we didn't have the choice. We couldn't kick it down the street. We had to tackle it immediately. And so in doing so, we were able to accomplish a lot. So I don't have no regrets in that. Learning is beautiful to me. And even in situations where we missed that, we fell fast. People always talk about our chief of police, but yet homicides down in the city.
And now it sounds like we're going to have somebody that had been a finalist in your administration.
Right. Jason Lando, who I think is a great guy. I think is a wonderful guy.
He was one of your top picks.
Absolutely.
Do you wish you'd picked him instead?
No, I like Scarrato. I thought Scarrato was great. I mean, it's just that he had a double interest, and then his partner had to move back to Texas because the virtual reality job was complete. But I don't have no regrets when it comes to Scarrato.
What opportunities do you still see for Pittsburgh in 2026 or beyond that you think your family should get a little credit for?
NFL draft, I think is major. That's coming here next year. I think when you talk about housing and the amount of housing that we got in the pipeline still is major. We get Loop across the finish line this year. I think that's major. Those are some major things. The opening of the 412 building, the change of how we do PLI, permits, license, and inspection, was major. But I think that the opportunity that the city really has, that I think gives me a lot of hope, is the 28-acre site called the Lower Hill.
Getting the city taking ownership of it back from the Penguins after all these years.
I'm going there. I believe that it's the greatest development that we have in this region. I believe it's an opportunity to heal the hill. I believe it's an opportunity to restore what we took. I believe it's a great opportunity to reconnect the fabric of the hill right back into downtown. I believe it's an opportunity to increase NBE, to give people an opportunity to rebuild the property that was wrongfully taken from them. I believe it's an opportunity to connect, again, sports to the hill. So I call it, Heal the Hill, HEAL, Heal the Hill. And I believe that this region owes the hill that for multiple reasons of what they've took and destroyed. And so for me, the greatest development that we have coming through right now is the 28 acres to make sure that the mistakes of the past are not made no more. We need that.
What do you think is going to be Pittsburgh's biggest challenge in 2026?
28 acres.
Still the hill. Okay.
It's still the hill. Listen.
No, I like it. You said that's the biggest opportunity,
biggest
but also
opportunity
it's the biggest challenge.
Here's why. You know, everybody talks about history. Everybody talks about what happened. Everybody knows what happened with the Civic Arena deal, the whole nine.
And if you don't, we decimated an entire neighborhood and a generation of people who had lived in one spot for a long time.
Come on. And now we get an opportunity. We get an opportunity to reestablish that. We get an opportunity to correct that wrong. It's more than economic development. It's more than just the restoring of a neighborhood. It's the building of a city. It's how we do it right.
You don't think they're just going to put like a skyscraper on it? I mean this genuinely. It's not that I want that. It's just like, it's Pittsburgh. That's what we tend to do with open spots of land this close to downtown.
I hope not, because that would be a lack of vision and always returning to yesterday. There's no better opportunity to demonstrate how to repair something than the opportunity that we have in the Hill District. But if we allow developers just to run rampant, if we allow developers just to have their way and don't worry about how we rebuild a neighborhood, but only make it to where the advantage is more to their bottom line, then we lose again.
Do you have any advice for your successor, for Corey or for Katie?
Yeah, do the best you can.
Y'all been meeting since he won the election, right?
We had a meeting, yes.
What's that like?
Yeah, just talked about, things that we was working on, things that he may want, and being able to, ensure that whatever he wants to make the transition smooth, we provide.
Mrs. Gainey, what about you? Any wisdom or advice for Katie O'Connor?
My wisdom, the thing that I learned across these past few years is to take my time and to not run to it, to give grace, because people who are coming here because they have a need. So I've learned to give grace because everyone's situation is different. Everyone's awareness and understanding of the how and why of government is on a different level. Mine is only different because of my husband. Were I not married to him, I probably would come in here like a flame on fire as well. But I think that I would just say, probably more specifically to Mrs., to take her time, to walk through and to step back when she needs to. I had to step back in the middle because I ran in trying to be helpful, and it's not my role.
It's a hard thing to find your space.
It's
as
a hard
the
thing.
Spouse, when any demanding job, but also as a figurehead as well.
And you want them to be healthy. That was always my fuss here. He can't be everywhere. He can't go to everybody's thing. He can't celebrate all the moments. One, because he has a family of his own at home. And I need him to be healthy. At the end, I need him to be healthy.
Has it hit you yet that it's almost done?
Yes, absolutely. I'm comfortable. And when people say, well, why are you comfortable? Because at the end of the day, my results are my results. And no one can take that from me.
I know, but you don't have to wear a suit.
I don't have to wear a suit. Well, I ain't wear a suit every day anyway. You know that. But anyway, I'm happy about that. And I get to relax. I've never had that. I couldn't. There's no way that I could have had a chance to relax and become the first black mayor.
And accomplish all that they've accomplished once he became the mayor.
We will leave it there. Mayor Ed Gainey, First Lady Michelle Gainey, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. We did ask Gainey's team what happens now. Council moved. They made changes. They presented it to him. Does he sign off now on the budget and the tax increase since they've made the changes? Or does he veto it? Like everyone else in town, we are still waiting to hear. The ball is back in Gainey's court. You can support us by becoming a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor. All the details are at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow with more from around the city. We'll talk to you soon. I have one tiny regret. Can I tell you what it
What's
is
that?
For your administration?
What's that?
Why didn't we bid for a WNBA team?
Well, SCA put out a survey between that and an NBA team. I'm not sure where it's at, so I can't say too much on that.
What do you mean you can't say?
I'm not sure where it's at.
You're supposed to be the fan. You were supposed to be the cheerleader, Mr. Mayor.
I love it. Listen, I would love for us. I don't know where we landed with that, but I would love to see a WNBA team here.
I'm going to need you to advocate for that beyond the mayor's office, okay?